The escape pod was barely visible against the black of space. Taeyang almost missed it. His salvage ship's scanner had picked up something small floating in the debris field above Earth, and he had expected to find old satellite parts or maybe some valuable scrap metal. Instead, he found something that would change his life forever. Taeyang was 32 years old and worked alone. He had done so for the past 8 years, ever since a mining accident had taken his parents and his younger sister. The orbital shipyards were his home now, and his small salvage vessel was his only companion. He liked it that way. People brought pain. Machines did not. He guided his ship closer to the strange object. As his lights fell upon it, he realized it was not debris at all. It was an escape pod, but not of any human design. The metal was smooth and silver, covered in symbols that glowed faintly blue. Alien technology. Humanity had joined the Galactic Coalition 30 years ago, after scientists had finally cracked the secret of faster-than-light travel. But humans were still considered newcomers. Primitives barely worth noticing. Most aliens looked at Earth the way a rich man might look at a beggar on the street. Taeyang had met a few aliens during his work, and none of them had treated him with respect. Still, he could not ignore the pod. His scanner showed a life sign inside. Weak, but present. Someone was alive in there. He attached his ship to the pod and cut through the outer hull. The air that rushed out smelled strange, like flowers after rain mixed with something metallic. He pulled himself through the opening and turned on his helmet light. She lay curled up on the floor of the pod, barely breathing. Taeyang had never seen anyone like her. Her skin was pale, almost white, and it had a strange quality to it, like it should be glowing but had forgotten how. Her hair was long and silver, spread around her like a blanket. She was thin, far too thin, and her closed eyes were sunken into her face. She was dying. He recognized her species from the news feeds. She was Luminari. Her people were famous throughout the galaxy for their bioluminescent skin. They could glow in beautiful colors that showed their emotions. Happy Luminari shone gold. Angry ones burned red. Peaceful ones glowed soft blue. But this woman had no glow at all. She was dark, like a lamp that had been turned off. He also knew why she might be floating alone in an escape pod near Earth. The Luminari homeworld had been conquered 6 months ago by the Dominion Collective, a brutal empire that had been swallowing smaller civilizations for centuries. The news said there had been a purge. Most Luminari were now dead or enslaved. The few who escaped were scattered across the galaxy as refugees. The Galactic Coalition had done nothing to help them. They claimed neutrality. They said it was not their war. Taeyang had watched the reports with disgust. The galaxy was full of powerful species with massive fleets and advanced weapons, and they had all stood by while an entire civilization was destroyed. Now, one of the survivors had drifted to Earth, and she was dying in front of him. Taeyang knew what he should do. He should report this to the authorities. He should let the coalition handle it. But he also knew what that meant. The coalition had been extraditing Luminari refugees back to Dominion space as part of their peace negotiations. If he reported her, she would be sent back to the people who had killed her world. He looked at her face. She was young, maybe his age, or a little younger by human standards. Her breathing was so shallow, he could barely see her chest move. She had survived the destruction of her planet, escaped in a tiny pod, and drifted through space until she ended up here. She had fought so hard to live, he could not send her back to die. Taeyang made his decision. He lifted her carefully, surprised by how light she was, and carried her back to his ship. He laid her down on his small bed and covered her with a blanket. Then he sealed the airlock and set a course for Earth. He was breaking at least a dozen laws. Harboring an undocumented alien, failing to report a refugee, probably smuggling too. If he got caught, he would lose his salvage license. He might even be deported to a prison colony. But as he looked at the unconscious woman on his bed, he found that he did not care. The journey down to Earth took 3 hours. Taeyang landed at a private dock in the Busan Arcology, a massive city structure that rose from the Korean coast, like a mountain of glass and steel. His apartment was small, just 2 rooms on the 47th floor, but it was private and it was safe. He carried her inside and laid her on his bed again. He had no idea how to treat a sick luminari, so he did what he could. He cleaned her wounds with water and bandages. He tried to give her water, but she could not swallow. He found some nutrient paste in his emergency supplies and managed to get a little into her mouth. For 3 days, she did not wake up. Taeyang stayed by her side, leaving only to buy food and medical supplies. He researched luminari biology on the network, trying to understand what she needed. He learned that her species required emotional stability to survive. Their glow was not just beautiful, it was essential. A luminari who could not glow would eventually die. He talked to her, even though she could not hear him. He told her about Earth, about the ocean he could see from his window, about the way the city lit up at night. He did not know why he talked so much. He had been silent for years. But something about her made him want to fill the quiet. On the 4th day, her eyes opened. They were silver, like her hair, and they looked at him with confusion and fear. She tried to sit up, but was too weak. Taeyang held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "You are safe," he said slowly, hoping his translator implant would convert his words into her language. "No one will hurt you here. I promise." She stared at him for a long moment. Then, for the first time since he had found her, a tiny flicker of light appeared on her skin. Just a small glow, barely visible, around her heart. She whispered something. His translator processed it and gave him the meaning. "Safe," she had said. And then, even softer, "Thank you." Taeyang felt something warm spread through his chest. He had not felt that feeling in a very long time. He had forgotten what it was like to matter to someone. "Rest now," he told her. "You are going to be okay." She closed her eyes, and the tiny glow near her heart remained, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. It was the first light she had made in a very long time, and it was because of him. In that moment, neither of them knew what the future would bring. They did not know about the dangers ahead, the hunters that would come, or the bond that would form between them. All they knew was this single, quiet moment of trust between 2 strangers from different worlds. And for now, that was enough. 3 weeks had passed since Taeyang brought the luminari woman to his apartment. Her name was Valora, and she was slowly getting stronger. In those first days, she had barely been able to speak. She would lie in bed, staring at the ceiling, her skin dull and lifeless. Taeyang brought her food and water, cleaned her wounds, and sat with her in silence. He did not push her to talk. He understood trauma. He knew what it felt like to lose everything. Slowly, she began to open up. She told him about her homeworld, a planet of endless forests where her people lived in cities made of crystal that caught and reflected their natural light. She told him about her family, her mother and father, her younger brother. They were all gone now. The Dominion had shown no mercy. She cried when she spoke of them, and Taeyang sat beside her and let her cry. He did not try to fix her pain with words. He simply stayed. As the days passed, Valora grew curious about Earth. She would sit by the window and watch the city below, amazed by the lights and the movement of millions of people. She asked Taeyang endless questions. Why did humans build their cities so tall? Why did they travel in small vehicles instead of using teleportation? Why did they eat so many different kinds of food? Taeyang answered as best he could. He showed her how to use the cooking unit and laughed when she burned her first attempt at rice. He played music for her, old Korean songs that his mother used to sing, and watched her face light up with wonder at the strange sounds. He took her to the rooftop at night and pointed out the stars, telling her which ones humans had visited. "Your species is young, Valora said one evening as they sat on the roof. The Coalition calls you primitive. They say you have no special abilities, no great technology, nothing that makes you worthy of respect. Taeyang shrugged. They are probably right. No. Valora shook her head. They are wrong. I have studied many species. The strong ones survive through power. The smart ones survive through knowledge. But humans. She paused, searching for the right words. Humans survive through connection. You form bonds with anyone. You adopt creatures as family. You care for strangers. That is not primitive. That is rare. Taeyang did not know what to say. No one had ever described humanity that way before. Among my people, Valora continued, bonds are decided by biology. Our light must match. If two luminari glow in conflicting patterns, they cannot be together, no matter how much they might want to. But humans choose. You choose your friends, your family, your mates. That freedom is something I never had. She looked at him then. And Taeyang noticed that her skin was glowing softly. It was not bright. Just a gentle shimmer of pale blue. But it was there. It was the first time she had glowed without fear or pain since he had found her. You are getting better, he said. Valora smiled, and the glow grew a little brighter. It is because of you. Luminary light feeds on positive emotions. Connection, safety, happiness. You have given me all of these things. You have helped me shine again. Taeyang felt his face grow warm. He looked away, embarrassed. I did not do anything special. You did everything special, she said softly. The days continued to pass. Valora's glow grew stronger. Sometimes it was blue for peace. Sometimes it was soft pink when she laughed at something Taeyang said. Once, when he came home injured from a salvage job, she glowed deep red with worry. And her light did not return to normal until she had checked every wound herself. Taeyang found himself looking forward to coming home. For years, his apartment had been just a place to sleep. Now it was different. Now someone was waiting for him. Someone cared if he was late, or hurt, or sad. He had forgotten what that felt like, but their peaceful life could not last forever. One afternoon, Taeyang's old friend Minho came to visit without warning. Minho was a fellow salvage worker, a loud and cheerful man who had been trying to get Taeyang to socialize for years. He banged on the door and shouted that he was coming in whether Taeyang liked it or not. Valora heard the noise and panicked. She had not met any other humans, except Taeyang. She did not know if she could trust them. Her body reacted before her mind could stop it. And her skin flared with bright white light, the color of fear. Minho saw the glow through the window. His eyes went wide, and he stopped banging. Taeyang opened the door and pulled Minho inside quickly, closing the door behind them. There was no point in lying now. Minho had seen enough. What is that? Minho whispered, staring at Valora, who stood frozen in the corner, still glowing white. She is a refugee, Taeyang said. Luminari. I found her in an escape pod 3 weeks ago. She was dying. I could not report her. The Coalition would have sent her back to the Dominion. Minho's expression changed from shock to understanding. He knew about the Dominion. Everyone did. He knew what happened to refugees who got sent back. You crazy fool, Minho said, but there was no anger in his voice. You could go to prison for this. I know. Minho looked at Valora again. Her light was slowly fading from white back to a nervous pale blue. She was still scared, but trying to control herself. Are you okay? Minho asked her gently. Valora blinked, surprised by the kindness in his voice. Yes, I am. I am okay. I am sorry for the light. I could not control it. Animated. We're Komlif Creeder and Sparjek. I'm Gaines. Animated. I'm a prom. Animated. 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 Minho smiled. No need to apologize. That was actually pretty cool. I have never seen a Luminari before. He turned to Taeyang. You should have told me. I would have helped. You would have told me I was crazy. Yes, I would have. And then I would have helped anyway. That is what friends do. Taeyang felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He had been carrying this secret alone for weeks. Having someone else know, someone who did not judge him, made everything feel lighter. But Minho's next words brought the weight crashing back. You need to be careful, Minho said, his voice serious now. There are coalition inspectors at the station. They are searching for Luminari refugees. Someone must have tipped them off that some might be hiding near Earth. If they find her. Non-Wenpata. He did not need to finish the sentence. Taeyang looked at Valora. Her glow had faded to almost nothing, and her silver eyes were filled with fear. They will not find her, Taeyang said firmly. I will not let them. Minho nodded. Then we need to be smart about this. I know some people who might be able to help. People who do not agree with the coalition's refugee policy. But it will take time. How much time? I do not know. A few weeks? Maybe more. Valora stepped forward. Her voice was small but steady. I do not want to cause trouble for you. Either of you. If my presence puts you in danger, I should leave. I can find somewhere else to hide. No. Taeyang's response was immediate and fierce. You are not going anywhere. This is your home now. No. Taeyang. No. Valora stared at him. Her skin began to glow again. But this time it was different. It was warm and golden, like sunlight breaking through clouds. Taeyang did not know what that color meant, but he knew it was not fear. Thank you, she whispered. Both of you. Minho grinned. Do not thank me yet. I have a feeling this is going to get a lot more complicated before it gets better. He clapped Taeyang on the shoulder. But hey, at least now things are interesting. I was getting bored anyway. Despite everything, Taeyang smiled. For the first time in years, he did not feel alone. He had Valora. He had Minho. And together, they would face whatever came next. Outside the window, the city of Busan sparkled in the evening light. Somewhere above, in the cold darkness of space, coalition inspectors were searching. But here, in this small apartment, there was warmth, there was light, and there was hope. Valora looked at Taeyang, and her golden glow grew brighter. She did not have words for what she was feeling. Her people had a name for this kind of light. For the glow that came only when your heart found where it belonged. But she was not ready to tell him that. Not yet. For now, she simply smiled and let herself shine. 2 months had passed since Taeyang found Valora in that broken escape pod. She was healthy now, strong in body, if not fully healed in heart. Her glow had returned in beautiful colors that filled the apartment with soft light every evening. But lately, something strange was happening. Every time Taeyang walked into the room, Valora's skin would flare with a particular pattern. It was gold and silver mixed together, swirling across her arms and face like living art. The pattern appeared without her control, and each time it happened, she would quickly turn away and try to hide it. Taeyang noticed but did not ask. He assumed it was some luminary thing he did not understand. He had many questions about her species, but he did not want to make her uncomfortable. One evening, they sat together by the window, watching the rain fall on the city below. The sound was peaceful, and Valora's glow was soft blue, matching her calm mood. But then Taeyang reached over to adjust the blanket around her shoulders. And the moment his hand touched her skin exploded with that gold and silver pattern. She pulled away quickly, her face filled with embarrassment. I am sorry, she said. I cannot control it. It is beautiful, Taeyang said honestly. But what does it mean? You never told me about that pattern. Valora was quiet for a long time. The rain continued to fall outside. Among my people, there is a bond called the Radiance Link. It is the deepest connection 2 Luminari can share. When one of us finds someone who makes our light shine in a way it never has before, Our bodies begin to produce the bonding pattern. Gold and silver together. It cannot be faked or forced. It simply happens when your heart recognizes its mate. Taeyang's chest tightened. Mate? Valora nodded slowly. It is not just romantic. Though romance is part of it. A radiance link is everything. It means that person is your home, your safety, your reason to keep shining. My people believe that two souls who form this bond are connected across all of space and time. Even death cannot truly separate them. She finally looked at him. Her eyes were filled with fear and hope in equal measure. My light has been showing the bonding pattern for weeks now, she said quietly. Every time I see you, every time you speak to me, or touch me, or make me laugh, I tried to stop it. I tried to tell myself it was impossible. Humans and Luminari are not supposed to be compatible. We are too different. But my light does not care about what is supposed to be possible. Quote, Taeyang felt like the world had stopped spinning. He stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. You mean, me? He asked. Valora's glow flickered with nervous white. Yes. I understand if you do not feel the same way. I understand if this makes you uncomfortable. Among my people, the one who shows the bonding pattern first is expected to accept rejection with grace. I will not pressure you or make this awkward. I can learn to control the light. I can, Valora. Taeyang reached out and took her hand. The moment he touched her, her skin burst into brilliant gold and silver again. Stop talking. She fell silent, her eyes wide. Taeyang had spent the last 2 months learning everything he could about Luminari culture. He had read that humans were considered too simple, too emotional, too primitive to form bonds with other species. He had assumed that Valora could never see him as anything more than a kind stranger who had helped her. He had pushed his own feelings down, buried them deep, because he believed they could never be returned. But now she was sitting in front of him, glowing with a pattern that her own body could not lie about, telling him that her heart had chosen him. I thought you could never feel this way about a human, he said softly. I thought so too, she admitted. But you are not just a human to me. You are Taeyang. You are the one who found me when I was dying and chose to save me. You are the one who gave me a home when I had nothing. You are the one who made me laugh again, who helped me remember that life could be good. How could I not bond with you? My light knew before my mind did. It always does. Taeyang squeezed her hand. His heart was pounding so hard, he was sure she could hear it. I was afraid to say anything, he confessed. I have been alone for so long. I forgot how to reach for someone. But every day with you, I find myself wanting to stay home instead of going to work. I find myself thinking about your smile when I am out in the void. I find myself caring about tomorrow for the first time in years. Valora's glow grew brighter. Tears were forming in her silver eyes, but she was smiling. Does that mean? She began. It means I choose you, Taeyang said firmly. I do not care what the galaxy says is possible. I do not care if humans and Luminari have never bonded before. You are my home now, Valora. If your light has chosen me, then I choose it back. She laughed, a sound mixed with tears and joy. Her whole body was shining now, so bright that the room looked like it was filled with sunrise. Taeyang pulled her close, and she pressed her face against his chest. He could feel her light on his skin, warm and gentle, like being wrapped in living sunlight. There is a ritual, Valora said, her voice muffled against him. For completing the bond, the partner must accept the Luminari's light into themselves. They place their hands over the heart and take the glow inside. It connects the two souls permanently. Will it hurt? I do not know. It has never been done with a human before. Taeyang thought about it for only a moment. Then let us find out. Valora pulled back and looked at him with serious eyes. Are you sure? This is not something that can be undone. If you accept my light, we will be bound forever. I have been waiting my whole life to be bound to someone, Taeyang said. I just did not know it until I met you. She smiled, and her glow pulsed with love. She took his hands and placed them over her heart. He could feel the light beneath her skin, pulsing with warmth. It was alive, like a second heartbeat. Close your eyes, she whispered, and accept. Taeyang closed his eyes. He felt the warmth grow stronger, spreading from her chest into his palms, up his arms, into his own heart. It did not hurt. It felt like coming home after a long journey. It felt like the first warm day after winter. It felt like finding something he had lost, without knowing he had lost it. When he opened his eyes, Valora was staring at his hands in shock. He looked down. His skin was glowing. Faint lines of gold and silver traced up his fingers and across his palms, matching the pattern on her body perfectly. Impossible, Valora breathed. Humans cannot hold luminary light. It should not stay inside you. But the glow did not fade. It pulsed gently, in rhythm with Valora's own light. What does this mean? Taeyang asked. Valora shook her head in wonder. I do not know. No one has ever seen anything like this. But I think it means you truly are my mate. Your body has accepted my light as its own. We are one now. In a way that even luminary couples rarely achieve. She reached up and touched his face. Her fingers left trails of soft gold on his cheek. My heart chose correctly, she said. You are extraordinary, Taeyang. Never let anyone tell you that humans are primitive. You are capable of things this galaxy has never imagined. Taeyang pulled her close again, and they sat together in silence, their combined light filling the room. Outside, the rain had stopped, and the first stars were appearing in the evening sky. They did not know what the future would bring. They did not know about the hunters that would come, or the battles they would have to fight. But in that moment, none of it mattered. They had found each other. They had bonded. And together, they would face whatever darkness came, because now, they were never truly alone. Their lights were connected, burning, as one, and nothing in the galaxy could put out that flame. The Dominion hunters arrived on Earth 3 weeks after Taeyang and Valora completed their bond. Minho brought the warning. He burst into the apartment one morning, out of breath and pale with fear. The Galactic Coalition had made a deal with the Dominion Collective. All Luminary refugees would be extradited, no exceptions. And the Dominion had sent their elite hunters to collect them. They have technology that can track Luminary light signatures, Minho explained, his voice tight. They can detect the glow through walls, across entire cities. They are scanning every major population center on Earth. It is only a matter of time before they find her. Valora stood frozen in the corner of the room. Her skin had gone white with fear, and the brightness of her terror would only make her easier to find. Can she hide the light? Minho asked. Turn it off completely? I cannot, Valora said quietly. Luminary must glow to survive. If I suppress my light for too long, my body will shut down. I will die. Taeyang stepped forward, his mind racing. There had to be a solution. He refused to accept that after everything they had been through, he would lose her now. Then he remembered something. The night of their bonding, his hands had glowed. Her light had entered him and stayed. If her light could live inside him, then maybe. What if you transfer your light to me? He asked. Both Valora and Minho stared at him like he had lost his mind. What? Valora asked. Our bond lets me hold your light. I saw it happen. What if you push all of it into me? Your signature would disappear, but the light would still exist inside my body. You would stay alive, and the hunters would have nothing to track. Valora shook her head rapidly. That is insane. No one has ever tried such a thing. The amount of light that sustains me could overwhelm a human body. It could kill you. Valora. Valora. It could kill you. But it might not, Taeyang said. Humans are adaptable. You said so yourself. We survive things we should not survive. Let me try. I will not risk your life. Taeyang crossed the room and took her hands. The touch calmed her slightly, and her white glow faded to a nervous gray. Valora, listen to me. If they find you, they will take you back to the Dominion. You know what that means. You will be killed, or worse. I cannot let that happen. I would rather die trying to save you than live knowing I did nothing. Tears streamed down her face, leaving trails of soft light on her cheeks. You foolish, wonderful human. Why do you keep risking everything for me? Because you are my mate, Taeyang said simply. That is what the bond means, right? We face everything together. Valora was silent for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. We will try. But if I sense that your body cannot handle it, I will stop. Promise me. I promise. Minho stepped back, watching with wide eyes as Valora placed both her hands on Taeyang's chest. She closed her eyes, and her glow began to intensify. Gold and silver light poured from her skin, so bright that Minho had to shield his eyes. Taeyang felt the light enter him. It was overwhelming, like standing too close to the sun. His body burned with energy, and for a terrible moment, he thought Valora was right. He thought it would kill him, but then something shifted. His body stopped fighting the light and started accepting it. The pain faded, replaced by warmth. Power surged through him, filling every cell, every thought. When Valora finally pulled her hands away, she was completely dark. Her skin had no glow at all. She looked like a shadow of herself. But Taeyang was shining. His whole body glowed with gold and silver light. It pulsed from his skin, his eyes, even his hair. He looked down at his hands in amazement. He could see veins of light running beneath his skin, like rivers of liquid sunshine. It worked, Minho whispered. It actually worked. Valora collapsed against Taeyang, exhausted from the transfer. He caught her and held her close. Even without her glow, she was beautiful. And she was safe. How do you feel? She asked weakly. Like I could move mountains, Taeyang admitted. Is this what you feel like all the time? She smiled faintly. Luminary light gives energy and strength. You now carry enough to power a small city. For the next 2 days, they hid. The Dominion hunters swept through Busan, their scanners searching for any trace of luminary light. Several times they passed close to the apartment, and Taeyang held his breath, praying that human biology was different enough to confuse their technology. It was. The hunters detected his glow but classified it as an anomaly, not a luminary signature. Human bodies were not supposed to produce light, so their equipment ignored it. But the danger was not over. Minho's contacts in the underground network brought disturbing news. The Dominion had learned that there was a luminary somewhere in the Busan arcology. They were not leaving until they found her. We need to get her off Earth, Minho said during a secret meeting. I know people who can smuggle her to the outer colonies. She could start a new life there, where the Dominion has no reach. Valora shook her head. She was sitting beside Taeyang, still dark but regaining strength slowly as he periodically transferred small amounts of light back to her. I will not run anymore, she said. I am tired of hiding. I am tired of being afraid. And I will not leave Taeyang. Then what do you suggest? Minho asked. Valora looked at Taeyang. Something passed between them. A silent communication that only bonded pairs could share. We fight, she said. Not with weapons. With truth. The galaxy needs to see what the Dominion really is. They need to see that humans are not the primitive cowards everyone believes them to be. They need to see that one human cared enough to risk everything for a stranger from another world. She stood up, and even without her glow, there was fire in her silver eyes. I am not just any refugee. My father was the high scholar of the Luminari. Before he died, he transferred our people's genetic memory to me. I carry thousands of years of knowledge, history, and technology in my DNA. That is why the Dominion wants me so badly. Not for justice, for power. Minho's jaw dropped. You never mentioned this. I did not want to put you in more danger than you already were. But it is time. If we share this knowledge with the galaxy, if we prove that the Dominion's claims of luminary aggression are lies, everything changes. Everything changes. That's 70 peoples. Taeyang squeezed her hand. What do you need? A broadcast. Something that will reach every corner of Coalition space. And witnesses. People who will see our bond and understand that humans are capable of more than the galaxy believes. Minho grinned slowly. I know just the people. The underground network has been waiting for a moment like this. They are tired of Earth being treated like dirt by the Coalition. Give them a cause, and they will shake the stars. Valora smiled. And for just a moment, a faint glow flickered across her skin. It was weak, barely visible, but it was there. Hope. Then let us begin, she said. That night, messages went out across the planet. The human underground, spread across every continent and orbital station, began to mobilize. For years they had waited, watching Earth bow and scrape before alien powers who treated them with contempt. Now, they had a reason to stand. A luminary princess. A human salvage worker. A bond that should have been impossible. This was not just about saving one refugee anymore. This was about showing the galaxy who humanity really was. And Taeyang, glowing with stolen light, holding the hand of the woman he loved, knew that whatever happened next would change everything. He was not afraid. For the first time in his life, he was exactly where he was supposed to be. The broadcast reached every corner of the galaxy. Taeyang stood beside Valora in front of a camera that Minho had set up in an abandoned warehouse. Behind them, hundreds of humans had gathered, members of the underground network who had answered the call. They were ordinary people, workers and teachers and engineers and artists, all standing together as witnesses. Valora spoke first. She told her story from the beginning. She told of the Dominion's invasion, the lies they had spread, the genocide they had committed. She shared memories from her genetic archive, proving that the Luminari had never been aggressors. They had been victims, targeted because their technology threatened Dominion power. Then she turned to Taeyang. This human found me dying in an escape pod, she said. He did not know me. He had no reason to help. Saving me could have cost him everything. But he did it anyway. Because that is what humans do. They reach for strangers. They care for beings that are nothing like them. They love without conditions. She took his hand, and her skin began to glow. She had transferred her light back from him the night before, and now she shone brighter than she ever had. Gold and silver swirled across her body like living art. Look at this light, she said. This is the bonding pattern of my people. It cannot be faked. It appears only when a luminari finds their true mate. For thousands of years, we believed this bond could only form between our own kind. But my light chose a human. My light chose Taeyang. She lifted his hand for the camera to see. Faint gold and silver lines still traced his skin, proof of the light he had carried inside him. Our species are supposed to be incompatible, Valora continued. Yet this man accepted my light into his body to save my life. He glowed with my essence. He became a vessel for my very soul. How can anyone call humans primitive after seeing this? They are not primitive. They are extraordinary. They are the most adaptable, most compassionate species in the galaxy. Taeyang spoke next. His voice was calm but firm. I am just one human. There is nothing special about me. I work on a salvage ship. I live alone. I have no power, no influence, no advanced technology. But when I saw someone in need, I helped. Any human would have done the same. That is who we are. He looked directly at the camera. The Galactic Coalition calls us backward. The Dominion calls us weak. But we are neither. We are the species that survived ice ages and plagues and wars and nearly destroyed ourselves a dozen times. And we are still here. We adapt. We endure. We love fiercely and fight for those we care about. And today, Earth says, no. Behind him, the crowd of humans began to chant, Earth says no. Earth says no. The broadcast went viral within hours. Billions of beings across Coalition space watched the footage. They saw the bonding pattern on Valora's skin. They saw the light in Taeyang's hands. They heard the chanting humans refusing to be silent. The response was immediate and powerful. On Earth, people poured into the streets. When Dominion hunters tried to reach the warehouse where Taeyang and Valora were hidden, they found their path blocked by thousands of humans, ordinary people standing arm in arm, creating a living wall around the building. The hunters had weapons. They could have opened fire, but they hesitated. The cameras were watching. The galaxy was watching. Earth's government, seeing the public support, made a choice. The president appeared on a live broadcast and announced that Earth would not comply with the extradition order. Valora would be granted asylum. Any refugee who reached Earth would be protected. We are a young species, the president said. We have much to learn from the galaxy. But there are some things we will not compromise on. We will not abandon those in need. We will not sacrifice the innocent for political convenience. If the Coalition wishes to expel us for this, so be it. Earth stands for something. Earth stands for hope. R40. We will not sacrifice the innocent. R40. The Dominion Collective was furious. They demanded that the Coalition punish Earth for its defiance. But something unexpected happened. Other species, watching the broadcast, began to speak out. The Valorians, a peaceful trading race, publicly condemned the Dominion. The Skari Collective, known for their logical approach to everything, released a statement saying that human behavior demonstrated a strength that could not be measured by technology or military power. Even species that had always looked down on humanity began to reconsider. Valora shared her genetic memories with Coalition scientists. The knowledge proved beyond doubt that the Dominion had lied about everything. The Luminari had never threatened anyone. They had been targeted for their technology, nothing more. The Coalition had a choice. They could continue appeasing the Dominion and ignore the truth, or they could finally take a stand. They chose to stand. New laws were passed protecting refugees. The Dominion's demands were rejected. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy pushed back against their expansion, and at the center of it all were Taeyang and Valora. 3 months after the broadcast, they were recognized as officially bonded by both human and Luminari law. The ceremony was small, held in Taeyang's apartment, with only Minho and a few close friends present. But the moment Valora declared Taeyang her mate in her native language, her light flared so bright that people on the street below looked up, wondering what star had fallen to Earth. My people have a saying, Valora told him that night as they stood on the rooftop, looking at the city lights below. The strongest light does not come from one source. It comes from two lights that choose to shine together. Taeyang smiled. I like that. I never understood it until I met you. I thought strength meant surviving alone. I thought light meant protecting yourself from the darkness. But you taught me something different. You taught me that real strength is reaching for someone else. Real light is sharing yourself with another person and trusting them not to let you fade. She turned to face him, and her glow shifted to pure gold, the color of perfect happiness. You are my light, Taeyang. You are my home, and I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel alone again. Taeyang pulled her close. He could feel her warmth against him, feel her light soaking into his skin. Somewhere above them, stars were shining. Somewhere out in the galaxy, other refugees were finding hope because of what they had done together. But right now, all that mattered was this moment. This woman. This bond, I love you, he said. The words came easily now, after so many weeks of feeling them but being afraid to speak. And I love you, Valora replied. In every color of light I can produce. Forever. They stayed on the rooftop until dawn, watching the sky change from black to purple to pink to gold. Valora glowed the whole time, her light mixing with the rising sun until it was impossible to tell where she ended and the morning began. Taeyang thought about how much had changed since he found her in that broken pod. He had been alone, living a half-life, waiting for something without knowing what. Now he had a partner. He had purpose. He had a future. And all because he had made one simple choice. He had chosen to help a stranger. He had chosen compassion over convenience. He had chosen to be human. That was the lesson the galaxy learned that year. Humanity was not powerful because of ships or weapons or technology. Humanity was powerful because they cared. They formed bonds across impossible distances. They loved beings that were nothing like them. They reached into the darkness and pulled others into the light. And when one of them bonded with a luminary refugee, when their hearts connected across the void between species, they did not just save one life. They lit a beacon that the whole galaxy could see. A beacon of hope. A beacon of defiance. A beacon of what it truly meant to be human. And at the center of that light, Taeyang and Valora held each other close. Two souls from different worlds, shining together as one, forever.